The rain was pouring hard that night. A small dinner party, soft music in the background, glasses half full, and the conversation slowly drifted into one of those rare directions people usually avoid. The question was simple. What do you wish you could tell your younger self about love, intimacy, and connection? For a moment, the room went still. Then one woman, usually elegant, composed, almost impossible to read, suddenly went quiet. She let out a laugh, not a happy laugh, the kind of laugh that carries memory and just a little regret. Then she said something that changed the entire room. I spent 10 years believing I just wasn't built for deep pleasure, when the truth was I was simply with people who were always in too much of a hurry to ever discover it. That line stayed with me because it reveals something most people never truly understand. We don't experience intimacy based only on what happens. We experience it through who we are while it happens. A thoughtful writer once said, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." And nowhere is that more true than in human closeness. Because when you step into intimacy with another person, you're not just bringing your body, you're bringing your history, your beliefs, your fears, your pace, your emotional presence, your insecurities, your ability to stay in the moment. And the person with you is receiving all of that through their own filters of safety, trust, self-worth, and emotional openness. That is why the psychology of intimacy is so much deeper than technique. I'm Sophia Joy, and welcome to Love, Lies, and Reality. Today, we're going to explore something most people misunderstand, oversimplify, or rush past entirely. The psychology of deep, unforgettable emotional intimacy. And before we go any deeper, I want you to pause and ask yourself something honestly. Have you ever mistaken Dakio speed for skill? Have you ever believed that doing more automatically meant creating something better? Or maybe you've quietly wondered why something that should have felt natural instead felt mechanical, disconnected, or strangely incomplete. If that resonates, you are not alone, and more importantly, you are not the problem. Because the kind of intimacy that lingers in memory, the kind that changes how someone feels about themselves after they leave your presence, never comes from technique alone. It comes from awareness, from emotional intelligence, from presence. So if this conversation touches something deeper in you, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to Love, Lies, and Reality, and stay until the end, because what we're about to uncover may completely change the way you understand connection. Part 1: The Psychology of Anticipation. Let's begin with the true foundation of unforgettable intimacy. Not a trick, not a move, not a performance, and a mindset. The art of anticipation. Think about your favorite novel, the kind you couldn't stop reading. What made it powerful wasn't only the ending, it was the slow unfolding, the tension, the unanswered questions, the feeling that something meaningful was building beneath the surface. Now apply that to human connection. One of the biggest mistakes people make is treating intimacy like a destination, as if the goal is to get somewhere as quickly as possible. But the truth is, no. The experience itself is the destination. Anticipation is what transforms something ordinary into something unforgettable. And here's where the psychology gets fascinating. The brain often responds even more powerfully to expectation than stimulation itself. When something is delayed, when energy is teased, when emotion is allowed to build slowly, the brain releases more dopamine, more curiosity, more emotional engagement. In simple terms, What you don't rush becomes more meaningful. A woman once shared this with me in a session. She said she had never felt truly connected during intimate moments. Everything felt rushed, predictable, like watching a movie where someone kept skipping straight to the ending. Then she met someone different. He didn't hurry. He didn't assume. He paid attention to the moments most people speed past. And she said something unforgettable. It wasn't what he did, it was how long he stayed in the moment. That is anticipation, the ability to let energy build without interrupting it. So here's something practical. The next time you're in a close moment with someone, ask yourself, Saktur, how quickly am I moving forward? And even more importantly, Saktur, can I stay just a little longer than usual in the beginning? Not doing more, not forcing more, just in staying. Because anticipation is not performance, it is patience. And patience communicates something psychologically powerful. I'm not here to take from this moment, I'm here to experience it with you. That changes everything. And here's the deeper layer most people miss. Anticipation is not only physical, it's emotional. It's in the eye contact before words, the pause before a sentence, the silence where nothing is happening, yet everything is being felt. That is where trust begins. And trust is the gateway to vulnerability. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt completely seen by someone, not just looked at, but emotionally understood? That feeling of emotional safety is what allows the body to soften, the mind to open, and the moment to deepen. Without it, connection stays surface level. With it, everything changes. This is why rushing breaks connection, because rushing says, Astri, and I'm focused on the outcome. Your presence says, I'm here with you. And people feel that difference instantly, even when they can't explain it. So the first shift I want you to make is simple. Stop trying to get somewhere. Start paying attention to what's already happening. Notice the breathing, notice the subtle reactions, notice the pauses, notice the energy shifts, because the body is always communicating a deeper breath, a slight pause, a change in movement. These are not random, these are signals, and when you begin responding instead of performing, connection finally becomes real. Part 2, Emotional and Sensory Rhythm. Now let's move into the second psychological layer that changes everything. Check your rhythm. Connection is never static. It moves, it shifts, it breathes, and if you don't move with it, you lose it. Think about music. Imagine a song that stays at the exact same tempo, same volume, same emotional tone from start to finish. No rise, no fall, no variation. You would lose interest fast because the brain craves contrast. The exact same principle applies to emotional and intimate connection. If every moment feels identical, the nervous system adapts and attention fades. But when there is variation, when energy rises, softens, pauses, and shifts naturally, the experience becomes immersive. Here's the psychology. The nervous system adapts quickly to repetition. What feels intense at first eventually becomes normal if it never changes. That means connection is not maintained through sameness. It is maintained through responsiveness. Ask yourself, Guri, am I repeating a pattern or am I responding to the moment? That question alone can transform the quality of your connection. One woman described this beautifully. She said, "For the first time, I didn't feel like something was being done to me. I felt like I was part of something unfolding." That is rhythm. When there is rhythm, there is participation. When there is no rhythm, there is disconnection. And this applies far beyond intimacy. It applies to conversations, relationships, emotional bonding, and everyday closeness. When you learn to move with another person's energy instead of imposing your own pace, connection becomes effortless. Part 3. The voice that creates emotional safety. Now let's explore something most people completely overlook: the psychology of the voice. Not what you say, but how your presence travels through your voice. Think about a moment when someone spoke to you in a way that stayed with you. Maybe their tone was calm, maybe it was warm, maybe it was slow and grounded, but something about it made you feel safe. What made it powerful wasn't only the words, it was how you felt while hearing them. That is emotional resonance. Because the nervous system listens to my tone before it processes language. Someone can say all the right things, but if their tone feels rushed, distracted, or emotionally absent, the body does not relax. It stays guarded. A woman once explained it perfectly. She said, "He said all the right things, but I couldn't feel him in the words." Later, she met someone different. He didn't say much, but when he did, it felt grounded, present, real. And she said, "Surater." I could feel that he meant it. That is the difference between communication and connection. There are always three powerful voice elements. Cars, pras, down 1. Tone carries emotion. Warm tone, chars safety. Sharp tone, chas tension. Chas sa 2. Pace. Slowing down creates emotional space. Space allows the other person to feel. Das jas 3. Intention. People feel your intention through your voice before they fully understand your words. That's why one quiet sentence can feel more powerful than a long explanation. And here's something most people never realize: silence is also part of your voice. The pauses between words, the moments where nothing is said, these are not empty spaces. They are emotional spaces. And when you stop trying to fill every second, connection deepens naturally because silence lets the moment breathe. If this shifted the way you think about intimacy, emotional safety, and female psychology, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Love Lies and Reality. This channel is where we go beyond surface level advice and uncover the real psychology of attraction, emotional intimacy, and unforgettable connection. And before you go, comment below. Have you ever experienced a moment where someone's presence mattered more than what they actually did? I read every comment, and in the next part, we'll go even deeper into how the body, emotional landscape, and unspoken cues create powerful connection most people completely miss. Stay close, because what comes next may change how you experience intimacy forever.